is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
For today's Grimm adventure, we're starting off on Hightower Drive here in the Hollywood Heights section of, well, Hollywood. And if I turn the camera this way, you're going to see this giant tower at the end of the alleyway, towering over us. Our adventure today is going to take us to the top of that tower, to a house that has quite a bit of history in music. The Utero house from Nirvana. There's an old photo I found online, taken from right about here. Honestly, I don't know what date it's from, but it's old. I'm really loving the car in the shot. It is a working elevator, and it's been seen in all kinds of different movies. And you know what? I wish we could take the elevator going up, but it is for residents only. So we're gonna have to walk the steps, take the long way to get to Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love's house. But if we had a key, this is how we would get in. Man, do I love the gates and the entrances here in Hollywood. That tower, that's looming. Sadly, Jessica is not going to be able to join us today. We are going to be doing a little bit of hiking. And notice I said we, because we have a special guest. All the way from Toronto, Canada, is our buddy Scott on tape.
How's it going, everyone? Good to see you.
You've been to Hollywood quite a bit.
Yes, LA, Hollywood's not my second home, but I like to consider it my second home. I come out here quite a bit to film for my channel.
And this is the first time doing this house?
First time. I've done the Spalding apartment. Now that's off of Fairfax. It's in a different area. I've done that, and that was an interesting experience. This is a hike to get to. I've always wanted to. I'm staying right around the corner. Like you can see my hotel almost from here. And I've always wanted to come here. The Spalding apartment is great, but this, he wrote a couple of songs. Now, I don't want to jump ahead, but he did write a lot of the In Utero material at the house, the apartment on Spalding. Then he left to go on a short tour. His guitars, his writing, he left it in the bathtub.
Which I always found interesting.
Yeah, that was his safe. The bathtub.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Kurt Cobain, by the way.
Right.
So we've
mentioned that.
Yeah, he left it in the. I think we did. He left it in the bathtub, flooded, all ruined. So he basically had to start over with the album, and it's up here, somewhere is where he started over.
Way up beyond that tower. You're right. Scott's right. This place, what we're doing today is a little bit of a hike. We're not going to show much of the transition up the steps. A lot of people have done that, but we really want to see this house. We have no idea if we can get inside it, but just seeing it.
10 years I've been saying I'm going to come up here. 10 years, and now we're doing it.
Fingers and bones crossed, we get really close. I promise you, we're not going to be filming this entire walk up these steps, but just look how amazing this is. Pretty much everywhere you look, there are steps that go down, up, this way or that way. It kind of reminds me of the movie Labyrinth. But Scott and I have done our homework, and all signs point up. I'm going to be out of breath. All this exercising, Scott?
It's not for me either.
Man, this is nuts. You guys know how I feel about the views hiking here in Los Angeles. This is why I do it. Every day, this is what I get to look at. And it is breathtaking.
This was in a very famous movie called The Long Goodbye.
There's Scott over there doing his video. It's kind of interesting to be on this end watching people do this.
Are we? No. We're here for Kurt. K-U-R-D-T. Cobain.
All right, Scott.
Yeah.
I was spying on you. We were spying on you. The Grimm Life
No problem.
was spying on you. Oh, would you look at that?
It's my only Kurt tattoo so far. So far.
What were you telling your viewers
Right
about
now?
a certain movie?
Oh, The Long Goodbye from the Philip Marlowe detective series is filmed right here. And you know who else lived in these houses up here?
Who's that?
Someone you love. I know you love this man. I know you probably worship this man. I know you probably want to be this man. The one, the only, poof, David Copperfield.
I
Had
did
a house
not
up
know
here.
that.
Yep.
Interesting.
The house that he lived in, though, has disappeared. It's true. It's true. One day it was just gone. He's David Copperfield. That's what he does.
Wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah. There's the house just in the background. Michael, I'd like to say one thing right now. This is
Yeah.
we're both filming. Out of all the videos you and I and research we've done on this house, this wasn't as bad of a walk as I thought it was going to be.
I feel like we cheated a little bit.
Did we?
I feel like we did. Like, I've watched a whole
Here.
bunch of videos on how to get here, and everybody else took the long route, and we were smart about it. We did our research, and
I thought we just took the long route too. I don't know what, but this is it.
This is it?
Cobain's house. This is the Utero house right here.
You might-
Isn't this nuts?
my knees always shake whenever I come up on places like this. That's how much I love visiting.
It's look at your face. It's awesome, right?
This is cool. This
Right
is
here.
this is music history right here.
Wow.
And come over this way, 6881 was the address. And there it is. I don't know when this place was left abandoned, but it is definitely in need of some tender loving care. But this is it. This is where Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love and Frances Bean lived. And ultimately, this is where Frances Bean was taken away from them because of an interview or an article that came out in Vanity Fair. Wild. Standing a little further down the walkway and looking up at the house, you can see those two windows on what would be the second floor. There's one on the left-hand side and there's one on the right-hand side. They have that kind of neat wood framing where it's like sectioned off glass. There's a photo, a couple different photos of Kurt sitting on a couch in front of those windows. I don't think it's this one here on the left-hand side, because if you look closely in the window, you can see a wall. There's not that much room. It's a small room. So I'm guessing that the one over here towards the back of the house, I'm going to point to it right there, that's the window that provided the backdrop to those photos. But it's really neat to see that those are still there. It's surprising to see that this house actually is still standing.
It's unbelievable that it hasn't been, because it was a mess when they left. It was a mess, and it hasn't been inhabited since. It's weird that they haven't. I was thinking, they were saying online, like, why has it been torn down? Can you imagine getting excavation trucks and stuff up to here to tear a house down? That's a huge project. This is a fixer-upper.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a fixer-upper. But it's still valued at about $2.5 million.
Yeah.
You know?
Right? That's because of the land that it's on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't see it from here, but if we were to clear away all these bushes and all these trees in the backyard, well, you can kind of see right about here is a parking lot. This was the back porch, and right there's the back porch. Now, if Kurt was up here standing on the back porch smoking a cigarette looking over the hillside, you know what's over there? The Hollywood Bowl. He had basically front row seats, eagle eye seats, I guess you should say, to pretty much any concert that would have been playing there at the time.
Bit of a nosebleed section, but still.
Nosebleed, right?
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
And another thing I heard is that the reason why this was chosen, the manager, Kurt Cobain's managers, Nirvana's managers, chose this because it was so isolated and they wanted to remove him from the party scene. Now you had the party scene in Seattle, you had the party scene here in LA, but that Spalding apartment was just, it was people in and out. So this is a very difficult location to get to. Friends coming to, you gotta walk up and it's far. So apparently that's why they chose it for him. He didn't pick this out. Can you imagine Kurt? First of all, I can't imagine Kurt even driving a car. It's a weird, as a Kurt Cobain fan, it's just weird thing that Kurt driving a car, but he did used to drive the Melvan for the Melvins. He wasn't the roadie, but he just drove them around. But can you imagine him walking, doing this walk? I mean, the man, you know.
I don't remember where I read it, but I remember reading something pertaining to this, that him and Courtney would often forget their keys and they would have to walk up here.
Yeah.
And
I remember that too. They forget the keys to the elevator, right?
Right, yeah. So it's just they have to take the long way.
Yeah.
And it's just neat to be standing in history, to be walking in history.
This is it, man. This is Kurt and Courtney's And I'm a huge Courtney Love fan too. I love Courtney Love. I mean, that may sacrilegious for Nirvana fans, some people, when I say that, but I do. You think that she was in here, lived through it, you know? She was writing that in here. Was Kurt helping her? I don't know. But Patty Schemmel, they say, one of the best female drummers. No. She's one of the best drummers. They say she's one of the best grunge drummers. No, she's one of the best drummers. That's what I'm saying.
You know, Patty was very nearly in Nirvana. Kurt didn't give a lot away in interviews, but the drummer role for who was going to be in Nirvana was Dave Grohl, about third. Jay Mascis, for some reason, he was obsessed with him, and he loved this band Sybil that Patty was in. And so I was like, I want her. He said, I want her. And I said, why don't we split her? So 6 months, 6 months.
I lived with them in this house on Hightower. I lived in the guest room, and there was like a bathroom separating us. Then there was this closet, and that's where Kurt wrote, I think, pretty much all of In Utero in that closet. He would just sit in there and play a guitar and sit on like a Fender Twin Reverb.
Patty made Kurt happy. He didn't have any friends. I just think that Patty and him had a very special relationship, and you know, she was probably more Nirvana than I was.
I've read that Kurt would often lock himself in the closet in the bedroom, and that's where he would do a lot of his writing. Not all of the songs for the album In Utero were written here, even though this is considered the In Utero house. At least 4 of them were written a couple years before that. It's just, this was a part of his life where everything just kind of came together, and it was only a short amount of time spent here.
No, you go ahead.
Our suspicions were correct. This is the window right here. That photo of Kurt Cobain sitting on the couch. Right in front of this window. Look at that. Obviously, the refrigerator wasn't there. The photo of Kurt Cobain with the bookcase behind him was taken from about this angle. That is nuts. Obviously the place is abandoned, but there's all kinds of different scribbles and graffiti of sorts.
Serve the Servants right there, that's a Nirvana song.
Oh yeah, Serve the Servants.
Written that right there. That's a Nirvana happy face here.
Scott's already upstairs. But let's go check out Kurt and Courtney's bedroom. All right, this one. Right here.
This is Patty's room.
This is Patty's room, so I had it wrong.
Yeah,
So-
I just corrected myself too.
So this was Patty's room, because I was wondering, I walked in here and this doesn't look like it'd be where, you know, Kurt would have sat. I've seen pictures of it.
You can tell in this room, you can tell that it would be Kurt and Courtney's room.
Let's go take a look.
Due to the size and the huge walk-in closet, I think 2 people in Francis are going to be.
Yeah, so there's another photo right here between these 2 doors is where they had their bed. It was like this wrought iron bed, the headboard.
So it's facing that?
So it was facing us. So if they were laying in bed, their feet would be right where we're standing right now.
So it's facing that?
So it was facing us. So if they were laying in bed, their feet would be right where we're standing right now. And then this is the closet where Kurt Cobain would lock himself in with his guitar and a little amp. And he would write some of the songs for the In Utero album.
In this very closet. Isn't that crazy?
Right? It's insane that this house is still here.
And to think that someone I love and someone you love, I think. Just to know that he wrote and played right in this little room. I can't say it's crazy and it's wild enough. I can't say it enough that I'm standing in this closet. Wow. And now I'm coming out of the closet. Hello. Hello, world. Isn't that wild? What do you think, Michael?
This is cool. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah.
Now I want to go see the Nirvana bathroom. Now, obviously, it didn't look like this whenever they were here.
I wouldn't say it's too far off, probably, though.
Right?
They were living rough for a while.
So I wonder if, at any given time, he would put his musical instruments in this bathtub.
You like to use bathtubs as safes.
Right?
It's possible.
The shower.
It's funny, when I see it at Kurt Cobain's house in Olympia, people make fun of me for recording the shower. They said, oh, what's the big interest in recording the shower? I'm like, I don't know, it's a shower. Kurt Cobain was here.
Someday, this shower may not be here.
Exactly, we're documenting it.
This is definitely really cool. One of the reasons why I love doing these videos is walking through history like this. I'm gonna walk to the center of Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love's room and just kind of do a 360. Right? Insane history happened here. We find ourselves back over at the window where the couch was. And I just want to get a look at the view that they would have had walking out on the balcony. Look at that. Insane, right? Let's take a look over this side of the house. Looks like it was probably at one point a sunroom. Oh, check that out. That is neat. Oh, sunroom over here. I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm so amazed that this place is still standing. Well, this would have been the kitchen. Completely gutted. It's so quiet.
Michael, I brought sandwiches for a day, but I forgot mustard. I think we're good.
I don't know. Is it Grey Poupon?
It is not. It looks like Hunt's. Oh, it's a Ralph's.
It's a Ralph's.
It's a Ralph's. No, thank you. Just in case.
Nope.
Rock and roll Ralph's.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.